Alright, so guys, today we're going to talk about why we have brake noise in our cars. So whether it's a squeak or grinding or any other debris wedged in there, it's going to cause sharp grinding noises. You're going to have to take the caliper off first. Let's go ahead. So these brakes are actually about 7-8 millimeters, but we got noise, so that's why we're here. So number one thing I'm gonna say is these brake dust shields. Alright, they have really close tolerance to the rotor. So what I like to do is I'll just push this back a little bit, see if there's any debris in the back of this. Even a little pebble cause a ton of noise going down the road. Alright, so that's number one. Alright, now number two is just the brake pads themselves. If they're super thin, maybe they're less than 1 millimeter, it's gonna start hitting the actual backing plate of the pad material, and that's gonna cause an ungodly noise when you apply the brakes. Alright, so we look here. This is pretty good actually. I don't see any issues. Alright, well, put that to the side. Alright. This one, feel it. It doesn't feel rough, it's smooth. That's good. You can sand those down with a 40 grit or 80 grit sandpaper. Get it nice. Alright, so another thing I'm going to discuss here is just this caliper. This one's not that bad. You can put your finger and feel the contact surfaces. They're smooth on this one. And here, wherever the rotor or the pad can contact this caliper can potentially cause noise. There's even a slight ridge here. So this isn't bad, but I would still, you want to clean everything with a wire brush as good as possible, even though it's good. So just get in there, clean the surfaces, or you can use a die grinder, use a wire brush. That's all I got here. Clean all that up. Yeah, I even clean here on the actual piston, the caliper piston, and around it as well. Alright, so that's good. We're going to set that to the side. So this one, the slides, it's a little seized, but we're going to take care of that in a little bit. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is this hardware. This is probably one of the biggest things that can cause noise. These little clips that come, we have new ones. You want to make sure they're just like the factory ones that you took off the vehicle. So this one is for the bottom here. It's a good match. Not exactly the same, but the dimensions are very similar. So if these are broken, or the tabs on the sides are broken, or they have any bends to it, warped, it's going to cause noise. If you're working on a customer's car, it's going to be a problem. They're going to come back. You want to make sure that's good. If they're not, go ahead and replace them. What you can do if you don't have any, just wire brush in there best you can, and then go ahead and reuse them if they're not bent or warped. We're going to put some new ones. So the last thing I'm going to discuss here, and this is a part 1 video, brake noise, is it's just going to be the pads themselves. These pads are aftermarket, that's fine, but first thing I'm going to say is the shims. That's very important. If they're broken or warped or loose, it's going to cause a grinding noise when you hit the brakes, or even just going down the road. So these are these are on from the factory. You don't have to worry about them coming off or anything like that. You're going to want to make sure those are in perfect condition. If not, go ahead and replace them. And then make sure when you put the pad in, this is another big thing, when you put the pad in, make sure that the pad doesn't have a lot of play in the bracket. So when it's in there, push up and down on the pad, make sure it's not clunking, and go side to side. That's got a clunk, but when the caliper goes over, that's going to hug that in tight. But you're going to want to also put the wear indicator or scratcher onto there, because that takes up some of the clearance that's there. And then last thing is brake grease. Where are we going to put our brake grease? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put the brake grease anywhere there's metal-metal contact. So what I like to do is, if there's a shim here, and it comes off the brake pad, put some grease under the shim so that that's on there nice. There's no metal-to-metal contact. Put also grease on these ends, on where the scratcher is, and put a little bit of grease maybe here, so that it slides on grease and not metal to metal. Also, you're going to want to put grease on here, on the actual lip of the caliper or the face. Put grease here or on the pad here, and make sure you put grease right here on the ears of the caliper itself. Alright? You put it all back together. You want to spin the rotor around, make sure there's no noise. And then always double check your work, guys. Go on that test drive after the brakes. Go slow, creep, hit the brakes. Make sure there's no grinding noise. That way you do a good job for your customer. They'll be a repeat customer because you actually know what you're doing. And that's very important this day and age. Quality is everything. You don't want a bad reputation, especially when it comes to brakes. Alright, so guys, that's it for today. Stay tuned. Part 2 in our brake noise videos series. And yeah, we're going to knock this one out real quick. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.